Give me a P.
P.
Give me an H.
H.
Give me a B.
B.
What do you say?
Hey.
Give me a P.
P.
Give me an H.
H.
Give me a B.
B.
What do you say?
Hey.
Hey, welcome to Promote Her Business, online, offline, all the time. My name is Josephine Hanna, but you can call me Jose, and I am the founder and chief promoter of Promote Her Business. I'm also your host for our Promotion Pro interview series, and oh my goodness, is this a series to listen to in 2017. At PHB, we believe that if you want to have the ultimate promotion advantage, you need to do what others don't so you can get what others won't. And that is so important that you are on this call today, because one action you can take to really separate yourself from the pack is to dress to stand out as an expert. Let me say that again. What's so important, especially as women who are constantly judged on our looks, is to really dress to stand out as an expert, because how you appear can say as much to potential clients as what you actually say. And it also really goes along the lines of your credibility and your alignment with what you're selling. So this topic is so, so important. Your image, your style, and it can directly affect your ability to attract higher paying clients, bigger speaking opportunities, and even high-level referral partners. So specifically in today's interview, you will learn some of the biggest mistakes that entrepreneurs make around their professional image and how to avoid them. You'll learn how successful business owners use image to their advantage. You'll learn what it's really like to work with an image consultant, one of the best of the best of the best in the Bay Area. And you'll learn one sizzling hot, super hot, tip to take away today to make a huge difference in how potential clients perceive you. So roll up your sleeves. We are about to jump into something so practical and will affect your everyday image and what you're doing in business for as long as you're in business. So you're going to want to hear every single word. So please, if you're not in a quiet space, please go to a quiet space, grab a pen and some paper, and get ready to take some copious notes. It is now my pleasure to welcome a phenomenal speaker, trainer, and image consultant. Many of you already met her at our 2017 Year of Women Entrepreneurs Conference. She was a rock star speaker. Her name is Vaidehi Norman, and she's an image consultant with Vaidehi Norman Image Consulting. Vaidehi is both an image consultant and a fashion designer, so you get two in one person, which is absolutely awesome. And I get to brag about her. I know she didn't get to brag about herself from the stage as much as I would have liked, but I wanted you to also know that she graduated top of her class, the very top of her class, from the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising. But she realized that creating clothing wasn't the most urgent problem that women entrepreneurs needed. They needed to know what clothing was right for them to allow them to stand out as experts in their hearts. And this led her to study and master image consulting techniques that she translated into her own easy-to-use formula. Vaidehi has now been helping women entrepreneurs transform their image for over 10 years. So we have an expert on our hands helping us become experts and look like the experts we are. And after working with her, Vaidehi's clients have been able to attract higher paying clients, bigger speaking opportunities, and high-level referral partners. So Vaidehi, are you there?
Hello, Joseph. I'm so excited to be here today.
Awesome. Well, we are so glad to have you, and thanks again for being one of our illustrious speakers at the Year of We conference.
It was such an amazing event. It was such an honor to be a part of it. Such a great room. experts and women entrepreneurs and their male allies.
I love it. I love it. Yes. And we want to just keep the momentum up because I know that the audience could not get enough of you. So the timing of this interview is perfect.
Yes.
So Vaidehi, I'm very curious. I mean, you are so multi-talented at so many things. And I was just curious, I mean, why is this topic really so near and close to your heart that you just really stepped up and said, Jose, I need to talk about this to women entrepreneurs?
Yeah, that's such a fun question because it is so near and dear to my heart. And this is something that may surprise people since I'm an image consultant and fashion designer. It's not about the clothing. It's about you. You as a woman entrepreneur. When you wear the wrong clothes, the focus of your audience or the person you're speaking to goes to your clothes rather than your message. And what I see is so many women have such a powerful message, and it gets lost in the distraction of what they're wearing or how they're presenting themselves. And that is just like the biggest heartbreak to me because what I believe is these women have such a powerful way of helping their clients that their image is just a vehicle to help their clients see the power and the value that they have to bring. And if they're able to do that more successfully, I believe women entrepreneurs can heal the world.
That is so powerful. I love that. And it sounds like you're alluding to something. I mean, it's even much bigger than what they're wearing, right? It's something with healing. What I hear in that is it's also healing potentially themselves in that.
Yes. I'm glad you picked up on that. My secret mission and my secret superpower is to help women increase their own self-love. And I know as women, it can be really, we can be the most critical of ourselves and only focus on what we want to change or what we don't like about ourselves. And that can lead to a lack of confidence in how we present ourselves, even if it's on a subconscious level. But if we're able to present ourselves and to dress our bodies in a way that really brings out our natural beauty, when we look in the mirror, we are convinced of our expertise, and it increases our feelings of self-love. Because really we're just a vehicle to spread this gift that we've been given, whether it's, massage therapy or business coaching or like me as image consulting. And so when we can look in the mirror and see how beautiful we are and how powerful we are, then we become unstoppable. And that self-love and that inner confidence is what everybody's attracted to and everybody ultimately wants. So when we can be an example of that and a representative of that, then others can cultivate that as well. And so that's what I think will heal the world, is increasing self-love.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I mean, I think it's so important, especially when you're talking about women. And I know, I'm going to guess, I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask you anyway because, I mean, there's so many different ways to get known in the world. On a scale of 1 to 10, how important do you really think that how you look, how you dress, how important is it compared to everything else?
Yeah. I think I believe truly that it's a 10 on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being low, 10 being high. And the reason is there was a recent study done that just shows the numbers, which I think is also really powerful. 93% of a person's impression of you is based on your image and your presentation. So the combination of both. And only 7% was based on what you say. And so you can see that, people are making a split-second judgment about who you are based on how you physically look and how you act. And so much of how you act is your own inner confidence. So when you have the tools to present yourself in a way that's fully in alignment with who you are, it not only gives you that powerful impression, but it gives you the inner confidence to present yourself in a really powerful way. So when you have the tools to do it, you get 93% of the impression in a positive way. And then the 7% is what you say, which you're already going to do really great about because you love what you do. That's why you got into business in the first place.
Gotcha. And I love that you backed it up with statistics, because I feel like sometimes I've heard from other people that image seems like a subjective topic, but really, I mean, you're a woman, you've done your research, you wouldn't be in this field if you weren't an expert, and to actually hear those numbers behind it, I mean, it just really cements to me how important, and probably how much more important than many of us think, our impressions are, not just our words.
Yeah, that's an edgy number to hear. I mean, I think it surprises a lot of people, and it brings up a lot for people because they think, I don't want to be judged by how I look. But it's not really a matter of somebody being shallow. It's really just a matter of safety. Like, we're just going around trying to judge how safe or how credible a situation is or a person is, and how much do I want to invest my time. And so when we can use these evidences to tell us this is a safe situation, this is a credible person, then we can lean in more to fully receive the message. So it's actually just it's almost like a basic animal instinct of how safe is the situation. And so when we use these tools to create that experience of credibility, of safety, then our listeners can really get what we're trying to say.
Now, I hear so much power in that, and I'm curious, when we're talking about really dressing like an expert, do you find that this topic is more geared toward certain types of entrepreneurs than other types of entrepreneurs, or, how do you see it, and who does this topic affect the most?
Yeah, I love that question. I would say this is a really powerful topic for entrepreneurs who are networking, speaking, or developing a referral partner system to get clients. Because this is when you're interfacing with your potential clients and referral partners in person. Business owners who develop their business primarily online and aren't doing a lot of in-person connecting, this is powerful for predominantly getting like a really powerful headshot or like lifestyle photo shoots for their website, but it's less impactful because they're not as in person. So most of the entrepreneurs I meet are either networking or speaking or developing referral partners to get clients. And I would say specifically this is really powerful and almost essential for entrepreneurs who are ready to take their business to the next level by creating packages that are a higher level investment, so attracting higher paying clients, and then attracting speaking gigs that are to bigger rooms, bigger audiences, as well as referral partners who can connect them with a bigger audience.
So, I mean, it sounds like, there's just advantages, right? Really working on your image, it could make 93% of a bigger difference in your success. And I'm just curious, why aren't more people doing it? Why are some entrepreneurs avoiding this topic?
Yeah, I would say that there's two main reasons. Specifically, I work with women, so this particular first reason I'm going to talk about may not apply to men and our male allies out there, but for women, one of the biggest reasons that they avoid getting support around this topic or really paying attention to this topic is because they believe that they need to lose weight before they can create the impressions that they want with their image. And I believe that you should be able to create a powerful image no matter what size you are, and particularly even more powerfully because there are clients out there who are waiting to work with you now. They're not necessarily waiting till you lose weight or till you look a certain way. They need your help now. And if you can create that powerful impression that allows them to see the value that you can bring them now, then they're going to get the support they need now rather than later. So I'd say that's one really big group of audience of women that I work with, of saying you can have the powerful first impressions you want no matter what size you are. And the other half of the people that avoid it is because they think they can do it on their own and that it'll save them money and time by doing it on their own. And, for a lot of people out there, they have style. They're able to create a look or do pretty good with their image, and they think, I'm doing pretty good. But the problem is their style ends up being really inconsistent, and especially when you're making bigger appearances, bigger speaking gigs, and attracting higher paying clients, the pretty good range is not going to get you where you want to go. And so when you're able to just realize, I'm sick of trying to do this on my own, I know that I can do pretty good, but I'm ready to take it to the next level, just like you're ready to take your business to the next level, that's when I come in. And that's where I'm really a powerful tool for business owners to show them this is how you can consistently create that really powerful impression. And you can stop making those lukewarm impressions where you're like, I thought this was a good choice, that I ended up not getting the results I wanted from that speaking gig, and I ended up not feeling that powerful in the image that I created because I thought I was doing good, but I didn't know for sure. So when you're able to identify exactly what's working, then you can repeat it. And that's when I come in handy with those people who have a style, but they're ready to take it to the next level.
Gotcha. And I know I would like to jump in just really quick and say something personal. I am totally proud and guilty to be working with Vaidehi Norman. She is my stylist. And I was actually one of those women that she's talking about that was avoiding working with a stylist because I didn't like how I looked at the time. And I was like, well, maybe when I lose an extra 10 pounds, then I'll start working with her. And what I realized in the process was, at first I was a little leery. I was like, I don't know how much of a difference this will really make in terms of people approaching me and me not just having to approach people. But what happened was, just based on how I was dressing, what I noticed was really two things. One, I noticed that I started getting different invitations to events. I started getting invitations from people that I normally didn't get invitations to attend events with them, much higher caliber events. And this was after I started dressing and up-leveling what I was wearing. And another thing I noticed is I actually had one woman say to me, she said, oh my gosh, Joyce, I haven't been part of Promote Her Business in a long time, and I see that you're really up-leveling the organization. And I said, well, how do you see that? And she said, well, the first thing is I can just tell it by how you're dressing. And she said this to me at a chamber event. And I mean, so this stuff really works. So if you are avoiding it, if you are waiting for that perfect moment to be perfect in size, I can promise you it will never happen because I don't know anyone who's perfect. and how boring would that be, right? So I mean, I just love what you're saying. I mean, I know this really has made a difference for me. So thank you, Vi.
Yeah, thank you. And you are beautiful at any size.
Thank you. So I had another question for you. What are the biggest mistakes entrepreneurs make around their professional image?
Yeah. So the biggest mistake I see, there's two answers I want to give to that, but I'm going to say the biggest one. And it's taking advice from the wrong people. There are so many blanket style rules out there. And I constantly have women come up to me and say, this person told me this rule, this person told me this rule, but it doesn't feel right for me. And the fact is, with image, we're not a one-size-fits-all sort of person. We're very complex. Even if you have a twin, there's going to be something that's unique about you versus your twin, right? And that's not the case for most people, right? It's like you are unique in your own way, the way that your coloring is, the shape of your face, the way that you move, the whole combination makes you who you are. And when people give us advice or opinions about our image, a lot of people base their style rules and their style, sort of how they choose their style, based on those things. For example, if somebody compliments a shirt that you're wearing or a piece of clothing you're wearing, a lot of people will take that as a rule. Okay, then this must be my style. This must be something that looks good on me. And some of the time that may be right. That may actually be a good piece for you. But a lot of the time that compliment has a lot more to do with the person complimenting you than you. That person may be thinking, I want that shirt. That would look really good on me. Or it may have a reflection, or it may have a reflection on what's popular. It may think, oh, I saw that in the magazine and I liked it, and now I'm seeing you wear it, and yes, in fact, I do like it. And both of those things really don't have anything to do with you. Another really common thing is taking advice from the sales representative at the clothing store, having them pick out clothes for you, and thinking that they're picking out clothes that are your style, that represent who you are. But the fact is, they've only met you for a couple minutes. They really can't see you fully and the full complexity of who you are. So they're bringing you clothes that are based on the selection that they have to provide, and they're doing the best they can to try to get you to look good, but there's really so much more to you that they can't see. And so the most important thing is to really know how to do it yourself rather than taking advice from all these different places like black is powerful, black means this, or wear pointed shoes, or don't do this on stage and don't do that on stage. Know what's true for you as an individual. So that's one of the biggest mistakes I see almost every entrepreneur making out there. And the other thing I see a lot of entrepreneurs doing is thinking that image isn't important. They think, oh, my ideal clients, they'll look past my image and they'll be able to see the value that I can bring them. And the problem is that the person that they're speaking to or the audience they're speaking to has already made a judgment about them based on their appearance, and that they're filtering everything that they say through that judgment. And if it's not a really powerful opinion or impression that you make, then everything you say, no matter how brilliant it is getting filtered through this opinion of doubt or like a lukewarm impression. Like if they can't present themselves in a way that makes them look like an expert, then how expert can they be? When in fact your image may have nothing to do with your level of expertise. It's really a vehicle to show your audience what an expert you are. So that's what I'd say the two biggest mistakes are that professionals make around their image.
Mm-hmm. Now, what are the biggest mindset shifts that your clients experience from working with you?
That is such a juicy question. Yeah, I mean, it's really subtle because, I mean, the response to this is not necessarily what people would think. This is what I would say is, I'm worth it. And they can look in the mirror and they can see what an expert they are, and that the reflection in the mirror shows them you look like an expert. Then they step into that conviction of I am worth it. I am worth getting paid what I know I'm worth, what I want to charge. And the other thing that really, really happens is I'm ready to be seen. When you don't have the image that you love, that makes you feel confident about who you are, you're more likely to avoid situations to be seen in a bigger way, which those are the situations that the clients who are waiting for you need to be able to find you. So when you are prepared with the image that's ready to be seen in a bigger way, all of a sudden those opportunities start coming up because you're ready for them. If you're in a networking group that you meet with regularly, maybe you're resisting that one opportunity to do your 10-minute presentation or whatever presentation length you have. When you have the image that gives you the confidence, suddenly you can't wait for that opportunity to be seen, and you grab at every opportunity you can to speak in front of your audience, to get interviewed on a webinar with a really hot referral partner, and you're just ready to be seen. And so all of a sudden your people are able to find you, and your business skyrockets as well as your impact.
Yes, and I know I mean, I know for myself at least that when I am in a power outfit, even if, the rest of my week hasn't gone the way that I wanted it to, and I got rejections and, you know, I'm not feeling great, the minute that I put on my power outfit, my signature style, my confidence just goes up and I'm ready to play a bigger game. It's almost like, I don't know, there was that children's book where you put on the magic slippers and you're able to dance like a ballerina or something like that.
Yes. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just like one of those things. And I mean, at PHP, I mean, you know this by day, but it's about how do we trigger ourselves into a powerful state of being. And sometimes it comes from listening, to our Rock Your Week song. Sometimes it comes from, doing your breath support. And sometimes it comes from something as simple as just putting on the right clothes in the morning. I mean, that's what I'm really hearing in what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Those magic slippers, but the full outfit.
The magic slippers, I know. You're like, that's a faux pas, don't do it, but yeah. Okay, and that's why I am not the image consultant, clearly. Oh, fine. So, Vaidehi, what do you see successful business owners doing around their image that others are not doing?
Yeah, I think that one of the things that really sets successful business owners apart is that they are making investments in time-saving solutions. Like a lot of patterns I see younger in the sense of new to starting out business owners making is that they're doing everything themselves, which is natural in the beginning stages of business. You're still getting your income off the ground, so you don't necessarily have the resources to invest in the support, in a lot of areas. At least that's what they think. But what successful business owners often do that really sets them apart is they make the investment in time-saving solutions because they realize that their time is the most valuable resource. And that if they spend their time doing the things that only they can do, that they actually leverage their entire, anywhere that they put their business is the most impact. It's going to have the most impact in the world, in their business, and in their income. So that is what it is. And so hiring an image consultant to give you the formula and the tools to know exactly what to wear to have the biggest impact with your image saves you time every single day, saves you time shopping, but most importantly, it leverages the time that you invest when you're networking or speaking, so that you're making those powerful impressions and that the people who are going to want to work with you, they can see that right away. So you're not going to networking events and making lukewarm impressions and needing to go back multiple times over and over to develop that credibility in those relationships. But you can make that powerful impression right away, and those people can say yes to you right away. So it's about saving the time that you spend every single day around this image. And successful business owners see the value of that, and they're ready to invest in that right away.
Mm-hmm. I love that, and I think it's so true. I mean, as you know, I'm friends with a lot of founders of different organizations that put on events, and a lot of times when you're at the founder or CEO level of organizations, either you look like you have it together or you don't. A lot of times founders are on one side or the other side of the spectrum, right? But at least in my circle of people that I hang out with, I happen to hang out with people that more look like they always have it together. And a lot of times people in their organizations are like, oh my gosh, how does this person, let's just call her Joyce, how does Joyce always have it together. And really the secret is, I can tell you, these founders, these CEOs, they're not the only one on Team Look Good. They have other people, image consultants, executive coaches, that are also on their team Look Good. Otherwise, they wouldn't look put together all the time. And I know I'm not going to be, airing out everyone's dirty laundry, but I'm just, pulling back the curtain here and being honest with you, because exactly what Vaidehi is saying, if it was just up to them, they wouldn't look put together all the time.
Nobody has it all figured out. Just in case you're wondering, if they look like they have it figured out, they've gotten support to figure it out.
No, they don't. They have a team. So
yes, exactly.
And I was curious, so Vaidehi, I mean, you've worked with so many people over the past decade. What would you say is your proudest moment being an image consultant?
I have to say this is actually a hard question to answer because there were so many moments. But I would say that one of my promotion partners was actually started out as my client. And she was one of the most talented photographers I've ever met. Is one of the most talented photographers I've ever met. But she was in this cycle of being overworked and underpaid. She just sort of had this mentality that I don't have to charge, or I can't charge what I'm worth to work with me. But she had a higher quality of product than most photographers I'd see. And it just killed me to see her work so hard and make so little for it. So after we worked together, she had the confidence to raise her rate. And it didn't take long either. It was like maybe within a month of working with me that she did that. And then even more powerfully was getting yeses on the new rates. Like, she really didn't have a hard transition period. Her clients were just ready to say yes to the new rates. There wasn't like a lot of, oh, wow, you raised your rates. It was just like, yeah, okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to pay you that price because you're worth it. And they were able to see that value. So just being a vehicle to help her see her value, I feel like that's what I'm on the planet for.
Mm-hmm. That is so powerful. I'm getting chills just listening to you.
Me too.
You too. Good.
I was thinking about her and how powerful she is, but I just got to be a vehicle in that. And I just feel like it's an honor every time I get to work with a client, just to help them see their value and help their clients see their value. It's an honor.
Mm-hmm. And I love that you feel that way about it. I mean, it's so much like what I'm hearing and everything you're saying is, I mean, this is so much more than just helping people pick out the right pair of pants. It's like this huge mission for you to really have more women step into their power, feel confident, feel in tune with their value. I mean, that is just, and especially with 2017 being the year of women entrepreneurs, if there's any time for us to up our confidence, it's now, so we can really step into that spotlight. So I just want to thank you. I mean, I know sometimes as a service provider, we don't always get thank yous and accolades and all the things that, that we would hope we would get sometimes. But I would just tell you, Vaidehi, the work you're doing is amazing. And on behalf of all the people that have never thanked you for the difference that you've made in their lives, thank you.
Thank you so much. That is received. It is something that is definitely needed for everyone to hear, but specifically I'm really grateful to hear that. Thank you.
So I know we got everybody excited. You're talking about value. You're talking about a client that was able to have the confidence to raise her rate and have people now see her in alignment with her new rates and her new level of value. So I know we have people on this call, they're itching. They're like, oh, I want to learn how to do it. How do I do it? How do I do it? How do I do it? Right? So how can our listeners, and I know we don't have a ton of time, but can you give us like at least one action our listeners can take to get started right away?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely am anxious to give you some tips to get started right away. So what I want to tell you is to create a range of looks for the different kinds of events you go to, because it's not, if you try to have one look for every different business opportunity you have, it's not going to have a powerful impact in each one of those events. So the fact is there's gradation in everything, and you really want to be able to assess how high of an impact that particular event is going to have on my business. So what I'd like you to do is I'm going to send you a handout. You're going to get a handout after this call with all these instructions, so don't feel like you have to rush to take notes. But what I'm going to have you do is first I'm going to have you make a list of all the different types of events you have in your business, and I'm going to have you categorize them according to impact. So we would have low impact, mid impact, and high impact. And I would say, judge the impact based on the results it can have in your business and you can have on the world. So I would say like a high impact event would be speaking to a room full of your ideal clients. That's going to have a potentially huge impact on your business and your ability to have an impact in the world. A middle level impact, what I would say, is like a networking event where you're connecting with an individual. So it's still high because you have the opportunity to help somebody or help a few people, but it's not the same level as being able to speak to a full room of people, right? And then low level, I would say, is developing the long game relationship. Maybe you have a networking group and you're doing a one-on-one with somebody who you've met with before, you already have a sort of established relationship with, but this person could potentially be a client in the future or a referral partner in the future, but you're having a one-on-one just to nurture that relationship and develop that relationship. So that's what I would put in the low-level range. Also, if you're dating, I know that this isn't specifically a professional topic, you want to have looks for dating or social events, because having those social experiences, they also really nurture us. We want to have a full range of experiences in our life, and so having that off time where you're hanging out with your girls, or if you're developing relationships to find love, that's going to be important as well. But you're going to have a different look for those events than you are for when you're speaking in front of a huge audience. So go ahead and make a list, 3 columns, low level, mid level, and high level, and then categorize the different events in each of those levels. Then what I want you to do is when you get home, organize your closet according to those levels. So put all the clothes that are going to work the best for your low level events in one section. Then put all the clothes that are going to work the best for your mid level events in another section, and then in another section, put all your high impact event clothing in that section. Then I want you to assess which piles are smaller and which piles are bigger, and what pieces are missing to complete outfits for each of those piles. And one of the things that a lot of people will say is, I have a lot of transitional pieces that I can wear to all those events. But the thing is if you're wearing them to all the events, one is they should really make a clear impact either way. And so if you think that it's transitional for all of them, there's a good chance it's actually not. And you're either making too stiff or too professional of an appearance in a low-level occasion, or you're making too lukewarm of an impression in a high-level occasion. So that you should really be able to identify which level of impact that piece of clothing is having. And the other thing is, too, if you're trying to wear it for multiple occasions, then it really has a better chance of wearing quicker. So, you have a chance of having pilling or fading or just looking worn in that situation, which is not going to have a very powerful impression. So keeping those clothes that are for that type of event, only for that type of event, really makes them last longer and gives that really polished impression for that particular type of event. And again, like I said, I'm going to send you a handout with the details for this, but when you create this range of looks, then you're prepared for each of these situations. And like I said in the beginning, when you're prepared for them, then you attract those opportunities and you're ready for them. And when you're in those situations, you feel at place, you feel confident, and that makes you magnetic to the people who are going to really resonate with what you do.
Now, I know you touched on this a little bit. You were talking about how it's important to not do everything yourself, right, as an entrepreneur. And I was really hoping that you could say a little bit more about how hiring an image consultant can really save entrepreneurs time and money.
Yeah, this is actually a topic that I'm really passionate about. I'm an artist, but I think that there's a core part of me that is just like an efficiency fanatic. I just want your life to be easier, to save time so that you can spend all your time doing what you're put here on the planet to do and not trying to figure out something else, right? So when you have this formula, so there's a difference between image consultant and stylist. Sometimes a stylist is just going to pick out clothes that they think are great for you, but then you don't have the tools to do that on your own. But as an image consultant, we give you a formula for how to consistently dress in the way that's right for you for all the different occasions, and so that you have the tools to do that on your own. And when you have this formula, then getting dressed is a matter of minutes, if not seconds. You don't really have to wonder, is this going to look good on me? Is this going to go with this? One of the things that I read a study, it's something like the average woman spends 45 minutes a day picking out her clothes that she's going to wear that day. And a lot of women are shocked by that number, and they're like, I do not have the luxury to spend that amount of time getting dressed. But the fact is they end up taking that amount of time between picking out the tops and the bottoms and the sweater and then choosing the shoes and then choosing the accessories. The whole process can be really drawn out. And what happens is you end up not knowing, and so you avoid it, and you end up kind of sticking with the same sort of look every day. It doesn't get you excited. It doesn't make you feel empowered. The other way this really has an impact is when you go shopping. So one of the most common patterns I see is women putting off shopping as much as they possibly can because it's such a painful experience. It's often a time-consuming experience that takes all day, and then they end up making decisions based on what's the best option possible, not what's the best option of what I'm looking for, what's going to look best on me, but out of this selection of things that were okay, what's the best one? And they end up taking that home, and it ends up sometimes working, but more often than not being something they end up never wearing because they don't know what to wear it with, or because it looks like the best option in the store but didn't end up working when they took it home. And the other thing they end up doing is they avoid doing it because when they go pick out clothes that look really stylish on the models or look good on the rack, then they go in the changing room and try it on, and it just doesn't work for them. It's such a depressing experience, and they end up feeling really bad about themselves and about their bodies. When the fact is, the most likely that piece of clothing is just not the right piece of clothing for you, and that there's nothing wrong with you or your body. You just need to know exactly what to choose to flatter your particular body and enhance your natural beauty. So that's really it's a painful experience that I want to provide a pain-free solution for. And so that you can walk into a store and within a couple minutes know if there's anything in the store that's going to work for you or not. And that everything you choose to go try on is going to be, I would say there's like an 85% chance that what you choose to try on in the stores is going to work for you, rather than having it be like a hit or miss, where most of the stuff you try on doesn't work. And that's on a little bit more of a practical level. And on the more high level topic of saving time, leveraging the time that you invest in events and what you're doing. If you're investing in time to go networking, if you're investing in relationships that lead to speaking opportunities, you want all of that time that you're spending to really have a result, to have a high impact result in your business, in your income, and in your impact. So that when you're making those powerful impressions, they instantly lead to results. rather than making lukewarm impressions in those situations that kind of lead to maybe lukewarm results. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it totally makes sense. And I'm curious, in the area of getting those results and getting those clients that you're looking for, I mean, as somebody who's a professional in marketing, I know people have, they have their primary audience, their secondary audience, their tertiary audience. So it's like you're trying to get in front of different types of clients, right, even as one business. And I'm really curious, from your perspective, does one's image impact the kind of clients you're trying to attract?
Definitely, 100%, I would say it impacts the kind of clients you're going to attract. And how I would explain that is, you would attract a higher committed client. So I know a lot of coaches, if you're hiring a business coach, they'll tell you to package your services in a way that's going to allow your clients to get the biggest impact. So a lot of coaches or entrepreneurs will have like a low-level way of working with them that's maybe a low level of investment, and then they'll have the ideal level of investment that's maybe a higher level investment, but is ultimately going to get their clients the best results in that field. So a lot of the times when a client's deciding to work with you, they may feel a little hesitation and say, I'm just going to start with a low level of investment, but then they may not get the biggest impact of the work that they really could be getting. So when your image conveys that of confidence and credibility, you present yourself in a more confident way, as well as your clients seeing you as an expert. So when you say, this is the package that I think is going to be best for you and get you the best results, those clients believe you and they're ready to invest at that higher level. Thus, they get the bigger results that they really want. So suddenly you're able to get the clients who are committed to work with you, who are scheduling their appointments with you months out, who are going to say yes to your schedule, who are going to say yes to whatever you offer them. And they're not on the fence, and they're not canceling, and they're not just one hit here and there. They're in it for the long haul. And that's when you really get to have the biggest impact.
Mm-hmm. So it's really about getting the clients you want and looking like somebody the clients you want would work with, as opposed to getting the clients you'll settle for.
Exactly. Well put.
So Vaidehi, what's one way our listeners can tell if a piece of clothing is not right for them?
Yeah, so this is a tool that image consultants use. And so what I'm going to give you is a little tip to try to determine this for yourself. But I want you to be really gentle on yourself and patient with yourself if this isn't something that's easy for you, because we're trained as image consultants to know how to identify this. But it's also a powerful tip to try and use it to get started for yourself at home. And again, this is going to be included in the handout that you're going to get after this call. So don't feel like you have to rush and take notes. But this is what I call the which do I want to look at first test. The right colors will make you want to look at your face first, because that's where your message is coming from. And that's where your eyes are, so that's how they're going to make a really deep connection with you and learn to know, like, and trust you, because people work with people that they know, like, and trust. So you want all the clothing that you wear to bring attention to your face and enhance the colors in your face, so that's the first thing that they want to look at. So the wrong colors and the wrong clothing will take attention away from your face. It'll have a stronger presence, and it ultimately create redness or paleness in your face, which will make them want to look more at the clothing than at your face. But your clothing is not what's going to transform their lives. That's not where your message is coming from. So what I'm going to have you do is choose one piece of clothing that you either love or that you think is a really powerful piece for you. I'm going to have you not put that piece on, but hold it in your hand. And what I'm going to have you wear is a plain white shirt. If you don't have a plain white shirt, then you can drape a plain white cloth around your shoulders. And the idea is that there's no other colors reflecting up on your face. And I'm going to have you stand in front of a mirror and make sure that there's good light in the room that you're at. And when you're standing in front of the mirror, I want you to hold that piece of clothing that we just discussed, your favorite piece or a really good piece. I want you to hold it up next to your face. Now, as soon as you do that, I want you to pay attention to where your eye wants to go first. Does it want to look at your face, or does it want to look at the piece of clothing? Like I said, bright colors will enhance the natural beauty and the natural coloring of your face, and your eyes will want to look at your face first. The wrong colors will have a stronger presence than your face, and it'll make you want to look at the clothing first. So do this, and you can try it with a few different pieces and see if there's a different effect. A really powerful way to have a good result is to choose a piece of clothing that matches your eye color. When you hold up that piece of clothing to your face, you're going to notice that the color of your eyes just pops, and you're going to want to look at your eyes. That sounds kind of funny because you're looking at your eyes, but you're looking at the reflection, and so you're focusing on your face rather than the piece of clothing. And so the idea is that you create that experience with everything that you're wearing, that when you put it on, the color in your face just pops, and that's the first thing you want to look at, and that's really the only thing you want to look at.
I think that's so important. I know some people, if they're listening to this call, I can already hear them rummaging through their closet right now, trying to find that white piece, that white shirt. I'm just going to tell you, just hold on. You can do it right after the call. I know everyone's like ready to get into action. This is a powerful experiment. I'm like, was that a hanger I heard in the background?
We're almost done. You can do it in a minute.
You can do it in a minute. And I will tell you, it was really funny because when you were talking about this also at the conference, there were women, that was like the first thing they wanted to do. They were telling me, oh my gosh, I said, who was one of the most powerful speakers you heard? And they said, that's Vaidehi. The minute I get home tonight, I'm going to be looking into my closet, getting that white, that white clothing out or white towel or whatever it is, and seeing if the piece I thought worked really works.
I'm so glad they were listening. It's such a powerful tool. I love it.
Now, from being an expert, sometimes we, have a habit of throwing around different terms like image consultant or signature style, and it's just, there's a lot of confusion, in terms of making sure that we as people who are not experts in this area are on the same page as what an expert would think in this area. And I wanted to first thank you for clarifying the difference between an image consultant versus a stylist, which is something I didn't know. And my second question is, in terms of signature style, you hear that a lot of times when you're in the speaking world is, if you're a speaker, you need a signature style, but what the heck does that mean, Vi?
Yeah, I love that. I love that question. Signature style is a consistent look that allows people to remember you and identify your brand. So a lot of the times we think of brand as a logo or the way that our website promotional materials look, but that brand is who you are. And there's an experience that people have when they're with you. So when the clothing that you wear and the image that you have is like an extension of that experience and who you are, then people are able to identify your style of working with people, your style of being, and identify if that's something that they're really going to resonate with. So then your image becomes like a beacon of light that attracts the clients and the referral partners who are going to love you. But the key thing about a signature style is that it is a consistent look. It's no matter whether you're in a low-level impact event or a high-level impact event, that your look is consistently reflecting who you are and the experience people have when they're with you. And so that they become like an extension of who you are, so that all the attention is just like brings it to your face, enhances your message so that you have the biggest impact from the stage, from a one-on-one conversation, or from a webinar online, so many different opportunities, but that it's all about your message.
And I love that. And I think, one thing that we're doing at PhD is we're actually starting a promotion dictionary because there's so many terms that are out there, and the lack of clarity around what the terms actually mean causes upset, right? Because if you're thinking signature style just means that you need something outlandish to stand out with, wondering, like, why isn't it working? I have something that, like, totally has me stand out. You can go into our dictionary and you could be like, what was it again that she said? Oh, it's about consistency, not just about making, a crazy impression just to make a crazy impression. So that's
exactly. Well put.
And I've seen people do it, so that's, I can vouch for that. They were remembered, just not in the right way. So.
Yep.
So, Vaidehi, there's so many golden nuggets you gave us today. I mean, I already have like a whole sheet of notes just from what you were telling us. If you could only choose one action, just one, for our listeners, what do you think will give them the ultimate advantage?
Yeah, so I think that one of the most important things that I would like to say for our listeners today to get started, and the most important action you can take, is to get support from an outside expert. Because I give you some super juicy tools to get started right now, but the problem is we have these set ideas about ourselves from opinions that other people have told us and from criticisms we have about ourselves that really keep us from fully seeing ourselves as the unique, beautiful beings that we are. So when you say identify your look or create a look that's like an extension of who you are, that gets really misinterpreted based on our preconceived ideas of what we look like. So when you have somebody outside of you be able to show you, these are your colors, these are the experiences that people have when you're with you, and this is the style details that are going to express that, and these are the right cuts for your body, then you're able to really embrace that and see it from an outside objective perspective. And so the way that I'd love to give you, the opportunity I'd love to give you to get that support, whether it's, maybe it's with a different person, but with me, I have a little bit of a bias. I think that I personally would love to be the one to be able to support you in getting this outside perspective. So how I'd look to do that is to offer you a Discover Your Signature Style strategy session. This is a private 1-hour session with me, and this is a phone session. This isn't in person. This is an opportunity for us to create a sense of clarity about the image impact that you really want to have. I'm going to help you discover the essential building blocks for having a sizzling wardrobe of your dreams, identifying the most powerful actions that will move you towards the hot first impressions that you desire, and then complete the session knowing exactly what to do next to create a look that attracts the clients and the opportunities that you truly want. So this is going to be a really powerful opportunity for you. And normally I charge $97 for this session. But for our Promote Her Business listeners, I'm going to give this session to you for free. Because I want to make it something that's easy for you to take advantage of, because this is such an important topic. And I know you have a million things to do in your business, and you have a huge list of to-dos. But this is something that's so important. I want to make it super easy for you to say yes to, so that we can really get clarity. And then how you can sign up for this session is Joseph's going to send you a link with the consultation sign-up form. So you're going to fill out this form when you get the link, and it's going to have you provide your name, your email, your phone number, and then answer a few questions to help you get clarity on what you really want to get out of this session. And a lot of clients ask me, well, how can you do this session virtually? Don't you need to look in my closet? But the thing is I don't even go near your closet until I get really clear ideas, really clarity around the image impact and the style that you want to have. And I get to identify, we both identify the struggles that you individually have, and then we see where the gap is, and we create a plan based on your individual needs. How does that sound?
That sounds amazing. And you know what, Vi, this actually, what you're offering actually goes perfect with our productivity tip of the week, which is 1 hour of planning saves 10 hours of doing.
Love it.
So if you just spend this 1 hour of time with Vi up front, oh my goodness, it could potentially save you up to 10 hours of struggling alone in your closet or dreading going shopping or, spending more money than you have to on clothes that you don't have time to return only to find out they didn't match, your face. So
That's perfect.
I love it. I mean, I really love this, and I know as I've already told the audience, I've personally worked with you. I now have my own personalized formula, and I think that's something, I don't know if Vi really called that out, but I want to call it out, is that when you get when she teaches you a formula, it's not like a general formula. It's customized to your specific style, your preferences, your lifestyle, so that you can use your special formula wherever you go. And I use it whenever I go shopping. I can use this as a tool for the rest of my life. So I really recommend that you do take Vi up on this session. I don't know anybody else that would give away this over. It's almost $100 value, and she's doing it for free for just our community because she wants women to really have that impression, to have them stand out as the experts they are. So thank you, Vi. I know you don't normally give this much of a discount, but I appreciate that you're doing it for our community.
I love that. I love so much that you talked about it in that way of saving time. Because after this session, I'm going to send you the notes so that you're clear on the impact that you want to be having, and you can use it as a checklist every day when you're getting dressed. You could say, is this outfit creating that impact that I said I wanted? And if it's not, what are you going to do differently? Where are you going to find those clothes? And so we get really clear on an action plan so that every day you're creating the impact you want to have. And like you said, I love that you said it. It's a formula that lasts forever. I mean, how many formulas are that juicy? This is so juicy.
I love it. So yes, the formula definitely lasts forever, but this interview unfortunately cannot. So we're going to need to start wrapping up this interview, and I really want to thank you, Vi, for being here with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. It was an honor and a privilege, and I had so much fun talking to you, Joe.
Me too. I know we could just go for hours.
Yes, we could.
Someone's like, cut them off. I'm like, no, we're having too much fun here, right?
Yep.
So if you are hooked on today's information, I just want you to know that you haven't heard anything yet, because our next interview is going to be just as juicy. We are going to be having a success story about how one woman entrepreneur discovered her signature style and how she created a range of looks and how this really affected her ability to be successful in business and attracting the clients of her dreams. So you are going to want to tune in for our third Tuesday at noon Pacific interview. That's going to be on Tuesday, March 21st at noon Pacific, because it's so great to hear an expert, but then it's also great to hear from somebody that's just an average person, not an expert in this area, but somebody who's benefited from leveraging one of the hottest tools in marketing, which is around your personal image. Okay, so you get to hear both sides of the coin. It's going to be so amazing. And what I want you to do is directly after this call, we're going to send you a survey, and you can enter to win a Biggest Difference consult valued at $600. All you need to do is give us feedback on how this interview went for you. And the reason we do this is because we want to know other ideas you have, other things you want to know from Vi, so we can put together the future interviews that really meet what you're looking for. So just take 2 minutes and you could win a $600 consult. Until then, until we meet again, remember to keep promoting yourself, keep promoting each other. Say it with me now. Online,
Offline all the time.
So, bye. Give me a P.
P.
Give me an H.
H.
Give me a B.
B.
What do you say?
Hey.
Give me a P.
P.
Give me an H.
H.
Give me a B.
B.
What do you say?
Hey.
Hey, we will see you later this month. Goodbye.